All right, with conjugates, well, guess what? That means we're getting ready to rationalize the denominator with something other than just a single square root. So in case we might have 1 plus the square root of 2, or square root of 3 minus 2, square root of x plus 7, square root of a minus the square root of b. And we need to know what to multiply by to get rid of that radical in the denominator. Well, in this case, we just change the sign in the middle. So from a plus to a minus, minus to a plus to a minus to a plus. And in all those cases, your square root's going to disappear if you have to use that as your conjugate to multiply by. Because what we have over here, we're multiplying by the conjugate. So basically, we're multiplying by what would make it so we get rid of the square roots. So that would give us a 3. So to rationalize this, well, if we have a plus here, that means we're probably going to multiply by a negative in the middle. And that's what we're going to do. We'll multiply by a negative in the middle. Now the numerator is just 1 times that, so we'll get the same thing in the numerator. And the denominator is just going to be 1, and then it's going to be minus 3. And so that gives us the minus 2. Now, sometimes, in this case, we can split it apart into two fractions, and that's fine. And then what we can do is say, okay, well, a minus and a minus becomes a plus. We have that. But sometimes they want, instead of, from here, they might say, well, let's keep it as that, but let's get rid of the negative in the denominator. So if we make that, that's going to make a negative 1 plus the square root of 3 all over 2. Now, does that equal the same thing here? Well, if we break that apart, it's going to be a negative 1 over 2 plus square root of 3 over 2. So this and this are the same thing. This is kind of broken apart into two pieces. This is left as one fraction. So kind of depends. Sometimes they ask for something like that. Sometimes they ask for that. Usually they want that positive in the denominator. So that's the key piece there. What about here? Well, here we're going to have to multiply by a negative square root of 6. So what we're doing is taking, the opposite of that, I mean. And so that becomes a plus. And so we do that. So now we're going to FOIL again, or rainbow, or however you want to look at it. And so it's going to be 12, and then it's going to be a 4 squared of x, 3 squared of x, and then 6. And down here is going to be 9, and then minus 6. So 9 minus 6 is 3. Here we have 4 plus 3 is going to be 7 squared is 6, and 12 plus 6 is going to be 18. And so that would be one answer. And I don't think, I mean, you could simplify this one. Again, if they want two pieces, that's going to break apart into the 6 and 7 squared is 6 over 3. But I think sometimes, this is a better number. This is okay if they want it split into two fractions. So it kind of depends, really. You have to watch what the directions say, because I've seen both of them on what they want. This one is common in a lot of things. This one is if they want it split into two pieces. What about this one? Well, here we've got in the denominator, if we really think about that, what does that equal? That's x to the 2 thirds. So what do we have to multiply that by to get a 1, basically, in the power up here? Well, we're going to have to multiply that by a 1/3. So, because we're going to add powers, 2 thirds plus 1/3 gives us 3 thirds, which becomes 1. And so when we have the numerator, we just have that cube root of x. And so that's going to be how we get to our number there. We have to think about this as what is our fraction? Well, we have 2 thirds. And so if we multiply by a 1/3, we know that we're going to add them. So that's going to give us 3 thirds, which is just x. So that means we had to multiply that numerator also by x to the 1/3. So that's how we ended up deciding what to multiply by, what two numbers add together to give us a 1. All right, so hopefully that helps you get started.